All right, welcome back. So we're going over the outline process here and basically the course as you see it when you get in. So this is an introduction on how to engage with your course and check it out. So what you see on screen right now is the first page of your lesson, okay? So I'm going to make this bigger, have that out. And then I'm also going to open up a Google Doc. Have you ever opened up a Google Doc, Noah?
Yeah, I have.
Yep, go to the waffle here. Google Docs is right there. I'm actually going to work on two screens. Your Chromebooks aren't big enough really to handle doing this side by side unless you have really, really good eyesight. But it's really small if you're doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to type up the title of this module. It's Reconstruction and it's Aftermath. Forgive me and my bad typing. I'm not the best with that. Math. Okay, there we go. That was actually pretty clean. So one of the things we're going to do is first thing I want to do is get the objectives into my outline. I'm going to paste without formatting here because this will keep everything the same kind of format, okay? I'm going to create, you can do bubbles. It's really, Noah, this is all up to you on how you want it to look. It really doesn't bother me how it looks. My most important thing is the information presented, okay? So the objectives for this lesson are describe the Reconstruction plans of Abraham Lincoln, the Radical Republicans, and Andrew Johnson. So there were three different plans. We can automatically assume that. Identify what some Southerners did to deprive freed people of their rights and explain how Congress responded. So right after the Civil War, it wasn't like poof, like freedom just reigned supreme. There were a lot of steps that had to happen in order for people to truly be free, okay? And then cite the main features of radical Reconstruction. You might have heard the name Thaddeus Stevens. He's a local guy. He really led the Radical Republicans during this time, fought for equality. If you want, one of the few people that fought for true equality at the time. And explain how Reconstruction changed the South. And finally, critique Sherman's March to the Sea. So these are some things you're going to have here. Also, keywords are generally good to drop in to your outline and your notes. Now, here's the thing, Noah. You might be saying, Mr. Frog, why are you making me doing all this stuff? Well, because here's the deal. Since you signed in within the first 2 days, as you're doing this, if you're taking notes and creating outlines and stuff, I will give you extra points on quizzes. I'll help you get bonus points on tests. We can talk about, basically you'll have control over this course. You and I will work together on all of this. But if you're doing a good job outlining, then the quiz grades are going to be great anyway. And the test grades are going to be great. Not only that, you're going to take away a skill that you can take with you to college, anywhere else. And you'll be good at any class, anywhere if you do this for them. So that's one of the main reasons why I have you do outlining, kind of keeping up with it. Take notes as you're going. Because if you're just clicking through here, all right, and then copying and pasting this stuff, you're not learning anything. And that's not what we want out of this. So there's a lot of stuff here. This is your textbook. Think of this as a textbook. Every page has a ton of information on it and good stuff. It's good things to know, all right? So as we go through here, we can look for some of the objectives, describe the Reconstruction plans of Abraham Lincoln, okay? So now we're on page 2. I'm going to let's make this look prettier here, okay? Let's go ahead and create true outline. I'm going to use, not the numbered. I like the big letters and skinny letters. Now watch me work on this, okay? Objective, students will. And then I can make this, boom, boom, boom. Boom. We can get rid of that B. This is all formatting, okay? This, again, stuff that you can do for yourself, okay? Oh, no, don't do that. Undo it. Always the undo button there. Gotta love the undo button. And then see how now all my keywords, oh, wait a second. I don't need to do that. There we go, keywords. This takes a good amount of time to get started with it, but you don't have to continue to do it. All right, so now we got that in. And as you're going through the lessons, we can do it. So the next page, okay. Is now rebuilding the South. Typing. Let's go ahead. Hold that so we know it's a new page. Now I'm going to start my thing again. These guys. So what place did freed blacks in the South have? So this is a main question as we're going through the next page of this, okay? So the first page was really just an introduction, okay? Letting you know what you're going to be running into, what you should expect, keywords. And now this is like your textbook where it's going to give you a question and you're going to read through all the information presented to kind of do that. Now I'm putting the question on here. Okay, I'm going to make it without formatting just to keep it nice. And then I'm going to unbold it here because I don't want to bold anymore. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and answer that. So what place, what do they mean by place, Noah? Do you know? What do they mean by the word place? Like where they're living?
Yeah, probably I think, or probably where are you staying at economy like class?
Nice. That's a great answer. That's exactly what you're saying. Yeah. So kind of like where you live, right? Physically in the South, they're talking, we know that. But like where you are in life, surrounded by your neighbors. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. So how could Southerners rebuild their shattered lives, destroyed cities and towns, and collapsed economy? So yeah, after the Civil War, General Sherman, this march to the sea down here, he burned Atlanta to the ground. And his famous quote is, "War is hell." Okay. Pretty interesting quote by Mr. Sherman there. But anyway, we can do a lot of different, your course has a lot of different tools. So up here, this toolbar, okay, select this button, click hover. So you can hover over stuff, you can highlight if you want. If you don't feel like reading, you can just play it.
By the time the war was over, the South lay in ruins.
Okay.
Losing to the North meant that the Southern states needed social, political, and economic changes.
All right, so now I'm going to pause it. I can stop it. That highlight goes away. So if you're tired and you just want to like have like a lesson on books, like, and just shut your eyes and listen to the lesson in the background, it's a great thing to do. You can use that. I use this translator tool here. So say English wasn't your best language, or you wanted to learn another language, you can put it in Spanish, okay, or other languages. So here's a dictionary. Okay, so say, I don't know what the Constitution is. Mr. Frog, you're a social studies teacher. All right, I think that's the dictionary. Yep, so Constitution. Now, United States, oh, so this one is different. So they're actually telling us the 44-gun frigate, okay, in the War of 1812, the name of the ship. All right, so that's there. Ooh, here's a word, pre-bellum. Pre in it tells us before. Ooh, no definition found for pre-bellum. So yeah, we really, I guess I just stumped my own computer. That's a fun thing. When that happens, Noah, have fun with it. Go with it. So yeah, pre-bellum is before the war. Here it is. Okay. Anyway, so you could take notes on this, that. But anyway, so let's see here. Social changes, political change happened by adding amendments. Yeah, so political changes happened, okay? 13th Amendment ended slavery, okay? That's a huge one. 13th Amendment ends slavery. Another big one, the 14th. This one provides males with equal rights under the law. So we are all treated equally under the law. You notice the key word here, males, okay? Because if they put everyone in there, then they would have had to give women the right to vote at this time, which they did not, okay? So finally, the 15th Amendment did exactly that for young Black men. It gave them the ability to vote. So the 15th Amendment, 14th Amendment, and the 13th Amendment are commonly known as the Reconstruction Amendments. All right. But what place did blacks in the South have after they'd been freed? Could they integrate into Southern society with the same rights as whites? Plantation economy depended on slave labor. How would the South rebuild its economy? So yeah, we have a lot of questions here in the South, right? How are they going to rebuild? They basically, slaves outnumbered plantation owners by a large number. So how are they going to replace their workforce? Basically, they'd have to start paying people. And how do we fix the problem of slavery afterwards? Think about the 3 acres and a mule solution. And that's where it comes down to Abraham Lincoln, the radical Republicans, and Andrew Johnson over here on our notes. So this is all the debates here, okay? So you go through here, the Civil War saved the Union, but shook the nation to its roots. As Americans attempted to reunite their shattered nation, they faced many difficult questions. For example, should slaveholding Southerners be punished or forgiven? So this is the main thing here, okay? So should slaveholders be punished or forgiven? So I'm adding my own notes into my outline, all right? And then right here, I'm going to add Reconstruction debate. That's a big one in here. Okay, the war had left the South with enormous problems. Most of the major fighting had taken place in the South. Fighting took place in the South. All right, bridges, railroads destroyed. More than 258,000 soldiers had died. Okay, that's a big number, right? Died. Railroads destroyed. People in all parts of the nation agreed that the devastated Southern economy and society needed rebuilding. They disagreed bitterly, however, over how to accomplish this. This period, okay, so this is the key. There we go. I'm going to copy this, paste it right there. All right, so I don't like copying and pasting we don't copy and paste into our answer keys on the computer, okay? But when you're doing your own outlines, sometimes you can't say it better than what they put in there. So just copy and paste sometimes into your own notes. Another great thing is if you use this, your notes, you can use your notes on any quiz or any exam that you want. So having these available for you will help, okay? What was the tumultuous period called following the Civil War, right? And then you go through, answer those questions for yourself. You can click on it, it gives you the answer, okay? Which amendment prohibited states from depriving any male citizen from equal protection of the law? We go back up here, look for equal protection of the law. Here we go. 14th. All right, click on here, down here, boom. And then who wanted to punish the South? All right, let's go over here, Lincoln's plan. All right, so now we're going to get some of Lincoln's plan. Let's put some ideas about Lincoln's plan. He offered the first plan for accepting the Southern states back into the Union. The president announced that what became known as the 10% plan. All right, 10% plan. One thing. When 10% of the voters of a state took an oath of loyalty to the Union, the state could form a new government and adopt a new constitution. So only 10% of the voters. So it wasn't much. 10% is a very small minority. Okay, a constitution, though, had to ban slavery. So even at the state level now, the Constitution would be banning slavery. Lincoln wanted to encourage Southerners who supported the Union to take charge of the state governments. He believed that punishing the South would serve no useful purpose and would only delay healing the torn nation. Again, very, very perfect words. Couldn't said it any better. In his inauguration speech, the second time he got elected after the Civil War, his main theme was malice towards none. Malice meaning anger, negative feelings towards people, and towards none. All right.
So basically, he's saying no mercy.
Give mercy. No, he's not. He's not Cobra Kai. No, he wants to extend the hand down, and this is a lesson for anybody when you're involved in a conflict. The best way to squash the conflict forever is to extend your hand down and pick up your defeated enemy. I know it's hard in the moment, but Lincoln really displayed a very stoic response to all of the death and destruction there. And his plan would have worked, but what happened? What happened to Lincoln?
I think he got shot in the head at a theater, something like that.
Yeah, yep. He was assassinated because basically, John Wilkes Booth and the conspiracy of those southern states, they wanted to take him out because they didn't want to live in a nation with Lincoln as president. All right. So the next would be a group of Republicans considered Lincoln's plan too mild. They argue that Congress, not the president, should control Reconstruction policy. So this goes back to our knowledge of American government. Congress does have, according to the Constitution, control over money. So Congress really is, they call it control of the purse strings. So Congress should have been in control of where the money went for. That's why they argued they should be in control of Reconstruction policy. And then they favored a tougher and more radical extreme. So let's now add, okay, let's go down to E, radical Repub plan. Okay. Tougher or more extreme. Yes, Makai, what's up? Makai is here in class, Noah, in case you didn't know, but go ahead. Okay. This is Noah, a new student in school.
That's nice.
What's up?
All right,
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even have your phone.
No, not Christian. Tristan, another kid. Yeah, don't worry. He's not putting your name out there. I'm already solving squabbles in the classroom. Go ahead, Makai.
What is supposed to do today? Because I did your test yesterday. And I aced it.
I don't know. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I aced your test as usual.
Okay, tougher. So the radical Republican plan was a lot tougher. We'll take a look at it later. Okay, Makai. And it was more extreme. They wanted to punish the South.
Guys, do not bully the hawk. Okay?
All right. So basically, and then you just keep going along. All right. And then we can start the Freedmen's Bureau here. I am somewhat of a historian on school education. And this period of time is highly interesting when it comes to education. It speaks to a lot of the innate natural curiosity that all human beings have, like the desire to want to learn, to understand things. This is one of my favorite time periods of understanding school because after slavery, a lot of people truly understood the only way to really be truly free was to be able to read and write and to communicate and to learn and to study. So the explosion of learning among the freed people is really spiked my curiosity in my studies. And a lot of the historical work about it, really, I mean, it's warming to know that the desire to learn was alive and well, and that even slavery, the worst condition of humankind you could possibly impose on anybody, didn't snuff out that light to understand the world in a deeper way. In fact, I kind of think maybe it ignited even lighter and caused a burning fire to burn even hotter within the hearts of those people as they got control of their education again. But so the Freedmen's Bureau here in Richmond, Virginia, the only thing that really happened was as the Freedmen's Bureau, they get a lot of the credit for the schooling in the South right after the Civil War. The history doesn't pan that out. In fact, the Freedmen's Bureau came in after the fact and kind of got involved with the state governments. The state governments had the redeemers in charge of them, the Southern whites. And once they got control of the curriculum, that's when segregation started to happen. But in the very beginning after the Civil War, the schools were run by Black people and they ran it for themselves. And here's the beautiful thing. The poor whites of the South wanted schools too. So they were going to the freedmen's schools, not the Freedmen's Bureau, but the people who had just escaped slavery. So every now and then a slave did figure out how to read. They were the ones in charge of the schools in the very beginning. And if you imagine your old schoolroom with your kids sitting in the desks and stuff like that, imagine that room full, standing room only, with people from as young as you can imagine to as old as you can imagine, learning from the one person who maybe understood how to read a few words. Truly a natural desire to learn whatever they could. Of course, and then the state governments got involved, segregated kids based on race. They got control of the curriculum, taught people they were second-class citizens in their curriculum. And then, then of course you have 100 years later, you have to have the civil rights movement to make things right. And we're still working on that to this day. So the Freedmen's Bureau here, while this is pretty interesting, the history of it is a little sketchy if you really dig deep into it. But it's really very, very interesting when you get there. But I'm going to cut this short because I've been talking a lot, and I'm going to stop recording here. But thank you guys for joining us. Continue to outline it if you want to keep going. Like I said, this outline can be used for credit, for quizzes, things like that. Just reach out, show me that you've done it, and we can talk to each other that way. Let me